Welcome back, folks. Today I've got a couple of repairs in our bedroom. The first one is right here, which this piece of trim has been pulling away from the front cap wall ever since we got the rig, and I'm just now getting around to fixing it. Basically, looks like they cut that piece of trim just a little bit too long, and so it's bubbling out. The tacks or staples or whatever they use to secure it seem to have pulled out, and so I'm going to try to cut that. I'm going to use a Dremel with a cutting wheel and hopefully create an angle so I can flatten it down. And then I've got some Go-To glue. It's a Loctite product. It says it's good for wood, metal, leather, plastic, stone, glass, and more. So hopefully that'll do the job. Without further ado, let's get to it. I'm going to reposition the camera so maybe we can get a better angle for you, and then we'll start cracking. Alright, so I've got this cutting wheel, and this is kind of a just cool attachment for the Dremel. It's like a easy lock. You don't need any tools to get it to stay. It just clips in place. What I'm also going to try to do is vacuum as I go. So hopefully that'll catch most of the dust and kind of keep this bedroom a little bit cleaner. We have plans to wash the sheets today anyways, but as much dust as I can keep down, the better. You can see how that's kind of bulging. So I'm going to try to cut it at an angle rather than straight on. That way I'll have kind of a little bit of an overlap to hide any sort of issues that I might create by cutting this. So here we go. Alright, so far not too bad. And, oh, looks like cutting that out left just the right amount of space here. Maybe I'll fold this down a little bit. So the trim, has the covering on it that gives it, its style. Looks like I kind of still hanging off the edge here a little bit. So I'm just going to wrap that down in, and hopefully that will allow me to hide that joint as much as possible. And to be honest, I'm okay with that. It's pretty set. It looks like this upper piece has been secured with tacks or something. There we go. All right. So that was just kind of creating impressions where these little tacks are. I'm going to pull you closer here so you can see what I'm talking about. So right here and right here, we've got some tacks, little brad nails or something to that effect. I'm just kind of pressing that in to make sure that there's a void for when I glue it, so that'll stay in place. You'll notice also that as I press it down, I've got more on the top piece, because there's a, let's see how we go here. Oops. There we go. So that the trim piece is more biased above the joint, so that's where I'm going to focus getting the adhesive on there. And then I've got some blue tape to hold it in place. Blue painter's tape. That is a really close-up image of my palm for you. see how this stuff works. I've never used it before, but it seemed that it might be a viable product. I'm just gonna squirt a little into this so I can see how it flows. It's pretty thick. It's like a gel almost. So that should have the staying power that it's not going to drip down like onto the headboard or anything. I think one of the challenges is that this is a little bit inverted here. So hopefully you squeeze enough on. It says it has a 5-minute workable time, so hopefully I'll be able to press this down enough. Yeah, it's repositionable for 5 minutes. It'll set in 30, and the cure is 24 hours. Get this down in there as much as possible. What I'm trying to do is make sure that this upper edge is kind of glued up enough. First kind of, there we go. That sounds like it's going to be sticking. Alright, so now in order to get this to stick, get my blue painter's tape. Figure this ought to be good because it's an easy release. Shouldn't leave a whole lot of residue on the wall, and it's not going to pull the decorative part of the trim off from the wood structure below. Got that in there nice and tight. It's holding it on pretty well. I'm gonna lay this strip along the bottom too, just to make sure that the whole thing has enough tension on it to hold it snug to the wall. Alright, that's one side done. Yeah, I think I might, on this one, the bottom is coming out just a little bit on this side that I've already glued. Nice crease in there. I'm gonna try to put a little bit of bead on the bottom piece too. I just feel like it'll hold a little bit better. See, that's pressing out already a little bit. So, all right. I can tell that that's. I may be sitting here for a while. I won't make you sit and watch glue dry with me, but. Pull the same trick here. Tape that down. Nice and snug. be pretty important to span this a little bit. Make sure that it's holding that down and tight. Alright, well, that's that. I guess we will come back in about a half hour and we'll see how well this holds. So the second repair I have today is from a modification I did when we first got the rig. I wasn't thinking about making video that day, I was just trying to get it done. But when we ordered the RV, we had a king-size bed. That king-size bed left very little space to walk on either side, and also RV mattresses suck, and we had a sleep number bed when we had our house. So our sleep number was a queen. So kill two birds with one stone. I decided to go ahead and cut down the frame for the bed so it fit a queen, and it gave us the extra walking space on the sides. So this aisle is over a foot, maybe 16 inches, 18 inches, something like that. And I've got the same amount of space on the other side. Well, in the process of making that modification, what I did, and I'll just kind of cover this real quick. So I made a cut right about here, and I sectioned out about, I'd say, about 10 inches, I guess. Whatever the difference between a king and a queen is. It was a standard width king, except it was only the length of a queen. I guess fairly standard for RV size king mattresses. And then since this whole frame is, you know, basically built with aluminum, you know, it's aluminum frame, and then they've tacked on some standard 1/4 inch plywood of some sort. I basically just cut it down, cut the 3 sections out. There's the section that's at the foot of the bed here, and then if you look under there, right where the crease is, there's a section there, and then of course all the way at the very head of the bed there's another setup like this with that metal framing. In order to shore things up, I went to Home Depot, picked up some angle iron, actual angle aluminum, sorry, and this particular one is 1 inch this way, 1 inch that way, 1/16 inch thick, and I bought 4-foot sections. And I use those 4-foot sections on the top and bottom of all 3 sections, just to secure things up and keep that frame nice and straight for me. And one of the things that I had to deal with in taking this frame apart is there was some plastic trim on top, and you know, the corner pieces and all kinds of trim all over the place to finish it up real nice. And I never put these back on. So basically just going to take that same adhesive and get these stuck back on the corners, because the corners aren't all that pretty. You know, they've got the 2 pieces of the plywood. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue those back on, one on this side, one on the opposite side of the bed, and we should be good to go. Another thing to note on this is one side is actually stained similar in color to the sticker or whatever they use. One side is still raw wood, so we're going to make sure that we put that stained side up on top. Again, using the same go-to glue, slather a bunch of it on both sides of this angle. They had initially held this piece on with brad nails, and so I pulled those through rather than trying to push them back out the way they came. The holes are very small. You can barely see them, so I'm okay with that. Get that glue nice and distributed. Slide this up and down a little bit both ways, and then painter's tape. And so I'll just use this to hold it nice and tight up against there. One piece on top, one piece on bottom should do good, I guess. Nice and snug up against there. And I'm going to go do the other side. Same process. I'm not going to make you watch that piece of it. And so I'm doing this while the other part's drying. And I had lunch and whatever. So hopefully that piece on the head of the bed is almost done. I guess here's the moment of truth up here. I have not taken the tape off, obviously. So you and I are going to watch this together, cross our fingers, hope it actually stays. Try to take the piece of tape off in the same order that the opposite order that I put them on. Well, seems to have stayed. Mostly. I'm gonna have to squeeze a little bit more in there. Looks like this side held just fine, but I think this is mostly being held on by that angle that I had cut. That side's holding really, really well. I think I'm gonna let it go for today. If I need to come back, you know, if I have any further issues, if I need to come back, I'll do another video. You know, maybe an update of, you know, how well did this stuff actually hold. You know, it's only $5 at Home Depot. That's where I bought it. So you might be able to find it in any other sort of big box hardware store like that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it for now. I'll bring you around. And there's my palm again. And there's all that's left of the joint that you can see. So far so good. We'll do an update later on if it comes off. I'll probably forget to do an update if it stays forever. But it does say that this stuff is heat, shock, and water resistant. So I have high hopes. Until next time, this is RV Brewing and Bizarre Bites. I'm Todd, and I'll see you around.